Yeah.
So
Well,
very happy to watch this game and just learn from Serral today.
all right. So you'll be our oracle, our guide through these next couple games. But anyways, we do of course have to introduce our players. In the bottom left, in the blue, he is France. It's Serral. Nico.
Should I do it? Okay,
Let's do
okay.
it.
and in the top right, playing for Kaisi Gaming, it's Solar.
Gotta do the caster things occasionally, you know.
Yeah, but I was thinking you're gonna do it this time.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
No, you're on here. You're casting. You're not just You're not. You know, we're not just an interview. We gotta give you the full casting experience.
So Serral already leaving the Overlord in front of his natural for a bit longer. That's like checking out for like some proxy hatch or some weird cheeses from Solar. It just shows a little bit of like scarcity, I guess, in Serral's mind that Solar can play something very wild.
Yeah,
It
so
doesn't really change much, but it's a small thing.
is that something that we're starting to see? I can't remember the last time I saw like a proxy hatch type idea in ZVZ. Is that something that Solar does, or
There's one cheese that's pretty strong, yeah, with like a proxy hatch. Proxy hatch, you cancel the hatch and then you make a spine crawler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that is a pretty strong build, yeah.
Yeah, certainly, and that's. Well, I think it's the one that you get that's the one that has a half health spine on it, right? That because you start morphing upgrade. Yeah. Well, that's not happening in this game, as both players have kind of, as you said, opted into that more standard play. So from here, I don't think we're going to see Serral. We were talking about this in the break. Serral did like a 1-1 speedling all in on Game 5 versus Dark yesterday. Didn't work out for him all that well.
Yeah.
I can't
I
imagine.
think that's very map specific.
Yeah.
Very map specific. Like, because he kind of knew that Dark is gonna. I think it's just a gamble. I think Serral just to hope that Dark wouldn't play standard. You know? I think that's the idea of it. Because obviously with that link flat you're gonna lose if Dark plays standard. But because Koreans usually play pretty wild in ZVZ, Serral would just gamble that he's just gonna fake a standard play and he's gonna all in me and then I'm gonna take a free win. I think that was the game plan.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, there's Baning Nest from both sides. Yeah, so it's super standard actually, pretty mirrored.
Yeah, we passed the first couple gateways, I guess, of ZVZ. You know, does someone pull first? Do you actually get your third base on time? Do we flood Lings at 27? And now the question, though, as we move into this, maybe you can provide some insight here, Elazer. Serral is known as someone who doesn't really like to go muted or doesn't really like to interact with mutas all that much in ZVZ. Is that something that Solar you think is going to go for? Is that something that kind of is within his wheelhouse, or are we going to just opt into Roche play once again?
Yeah, I think Muta is very good. Muta also is like the best way to play in ZVZ. The problem is it's a bit greedy. But if you get there, like, it's very good. So I think Solar, if he's thinking he's a worse player, then he should go for Muta. For Serral, it's always simple because he always knows he's the better player, so he doesn't need to gamble, and he always just goes Roach. But a weaker player should definitely consider Muta.
Well, for now, it is going to be Roche play for both players, but Serral, a significant flood of Lings here. He's posturing, he's making it look like this is a third base, and he's got a couple more drones.
I really like this.
Yeah,
I really
cool.
like this. Because it's like an off timing. Because you see the Roach one is just finishing right now. So if he hits a bailing timing right now, the Roaches cannot be out for it. So it's like a very nice timing where Solar has a Roach Warren, but he still needs to defend with Link Bane. Which is just a bit annoying to... Like, it's annoying to make Banings right now.
Well, certainly Banelings from Serral trying to roll in. Queens get a good target fire on the first one going down. By the way, these Banelings are morphing in vision. Solar knows exactly what's happening, but the Banelings from the left side looking for a good connection. They're not going to get it into the mineral line, though. They will not find that one.
He missed the connection so closely.
He's just not getting those connections. Now, it's really hard to get in here. There are so many Banes from Solar that, like, how do you engage into this?
It was very good defense from Solar. But you see, the problem is, now Solar has 8 Banelings, and Serral will already have Roaches out for... or at least he should have them. But he didn't start any Roaches, so that might be a problem.
Yeah, he's just droning behind this, trying to catch up to the drone count that he cut because he built, what, 30, 40 lings. So banelings now trundle onto the other side of the map from Solar. Still plenty of lings here, and Serral now has roaches on the way, but you're fighting defensively with 8, 10 Banes rolling in. That's not the easiest thing. That being said, though, banelings into the third base, 8 workers die.
Yeah, good run by. I think Solar just lost his timing already. But he had 8 banings that actually could be used very well, like just running into the third base. But now the roaches are out, so I think the next step for Solar, he can use those banings as a baning drop. I think that's the only way to efficiently use those. Well, and he's going for Spire behind it, so there's not gonna be baning drops probably.
Yeah, it certainly does give him a bit of map control, but that ideally is just going to be used, as you said, to get into that Spire play. But, well, actually, there's the other thing. Serral's roach speed is not done for quite a while, so there's not really this time where he can easily run across the map and say, hey, Solar, you're going Spire, have fun. I'm just going to go kill you right now. Maybe eventually, as he does get the Overseer into the natural... Where is that Spire? Okay, Overseer is actually not going to see it.
He might see it. Changeling? Yeah, Changeling is going to see it. That's very nice. And he killed the 4th base too.
Oh, good cancel there.
Lost all the Zerglings for it though, most of them.
No. Canceling the 4th base is nice, and honestly, at this point, Zerglings are nice to Elazer, but yeah, they're not the most important unit in this game anymore. The problem for Serral, as he does scout the Spire, he saw it as it was finishing, right? He doesn't have this nice open timing where you see the Spire and it's like halfway done, and you're like, ah, here we go. But you talk about drops, it's going to be Serral that's starting up roach drops on the left side, but as Muta's pop and as Solar is aware of this, I can't imagine that this is going to accomplish all that much.
Yeah, and Solar spotted the Overlord drop going to the top side, so he's going to probably just catch it with Mutas. Like, Mutas are actually a very good counter to Overlord drops, obviously, because you just catch them and you shut it all down. But if you don't see where the drop is, then the drop can be very good against Mutants, because it draws all the Mutants back, like. So it buys you a lot of time. But yeah, in this case, Solar just shuts it down immediately, and this looks very, very good for Solar already at this point.
Yeah, the one thing I'm looking at...
For some reason, Solar is not going for like a +2 melee or +1 melee Muta, so it's not gonna be like a normal Mutating Bane. This looks like he's just going for like a Baning bust, look at it. He's just gonna max out on roaches, getting a lot of Banings, and he's just gonna go.
It's funny because we saw Dark do the exact same thing on this map yesterday, and it didn't work. Serral had the hold.
Really?
Yeah, but this is how it's funny. I think this is how I see Serral lose more than anything else. He says, yeah, you know, my opponent has opted into Mutas, so I'm going to go Turtle on 4 bases. I'm going to get Hydras. I'm going to get Roaches. And then it's like, okay, actually, I got 8 Mutas. And really, it's just going to be the Roach Flood, Roach Bane, something like that. But the upgrades are now done, Elazer. So many Banelings on the map, 33 of them, and really not a lot, no additional splash there from Solar really to deal with this one.
He has Banelings on the front, Serral.
Yeah, but they all get targeted down. Baneling's on the right side, though. Serral, that's what he's going to try to use to knock most of the Banes from Solar as they roll on forward. But notice, they're just staying back. All the Banelings now from Serral are going down. The last one is, please, Solar, kill that.
But at this point, Serral is already maxed out, so... Like, Solar kind of lost his timing, I think.
Yeah, he's being so judicious with those Banes, but now he comes rolling in, trying to get on top of the Hydras back to the mineral line. They will go, but they don't go down. And now, yeah, you said it, the timing is done. +1 Carapace finishing up here. The Superior Concave for Serral. More Roaches on the way from Solar, sure. But the Mutas are dead. Only 3 drones went down, Amico. That's not enough.
Yeah, and now Serral has an upgrade advantage, and he also has Hydra tech, so it just looks like advantage for Serral. But I really like what Solar was doing here. Like, I think if this timing is executed like very, very well, with like just Banings going to the front, exploding a third base or something, like that could be really, really bad for Serral.
Do you think it might have been worth it to section off like 5, 6 Banelings onto the 4th base as he attacked into the 3rd to say, well, you know, okay, maybe Serral's in too good of a defensive position, but at least I'm going to say wipe out a mineral line or something.
Yeah, I think, well, it depends, you know, because Solar obviously was going for the kill here.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, so you kind of you're not thinking about economic damage or something like that at this point. So I also would just go all out on the 3rd base. But, yeah, I mean, 4 Banings at the 4th base would be very good here. It's just something you don't think about.
Well, we got round 2 coming in from Solar now. Not quite as many Banelings as he had last time, as I say that. 7 more on the way, so approaching that one. But the concave again from Serral, it's data C.
Yeah.
Good luck attacking these 4 bases. It's pretty hard.
The Bane's going at the top.
Well, actually, the Banes are just going to kill all the roaches. Not getting on the Hydras, but it's not the most cost-effective trade. It's something, though, and now Solar into the 3rd base. He will go. His Carapace not done just yet. So Serral, actually, he's going to have a 2-upgrade lead here, and yeah, it's only Carapace, but even still, it's going to be rather nice. The Banelings, again, not getting connections there. Looking for Solar, though, punching forward, trying to get on top of things. The Hydras, actually, they've mostly gone down, but the Concave, again, Elazer, it's superior for Serral, and as good as this might look, you say, okay, but there's a little stuff here. Defender's advantage is going to clean this one right on up. Again, the push from Solar doesn't really work.
Yeah, I think the Bane's got excellent connections in this fight, so it actually looked pretty close, but yeah, there's defender's advantage, there's 2 upgrades lead, and I think Serral is risking a little bit too much right now. You know, see, by getting Hive, by getting +3, like he's pushing it a little bit too much. I don't think he needs to play this greedy at this point. Like, he probably shouldn't be starting the +3 right now and just like max out first, play a bit safer. But I think on the edge, you know, he likes living on the edge. Maybe he's still gonna hold it.
When you're as good as Serral, you're like, I want to make this game interesting, you know? We got to make it look like it was hard. But versus go forward, and again, it's going to be hard for Solar to push into this position, although, hey, that's a couple exposed Ravagers. Solar's not going to be able to dive on top of it well enough, and the Biles, though, good splits there. Going to dodge those, and now moving through the choke, and as hard as it is, Elazer, to push through this choke for Solar, the same is true for Serral to try to punish on the other side. It kind of builds a concave for Forever, who is not moving through. So, yeah, Serral's happy on 4 bases. Where does Solar need to go from here now? He does not have Hive. He's only on 4 bases. He's down 2 workers, but that's really not all that much. Is that 5th base? Is it Hive?
Yeah. Well, he has the economy, so he probably should just go Hive. I like he's going for Burrow, but yeah, I mean, it's a way. It's a way to play, I guess. But when Serral's gonna get +3 and maybe Lurkers, then this Burrow is also not really gonna accomplish much, I think. But yeah, he's going for Infestation Pit. He's gonna go Hive. I think that's the only way, because you're not gonna break Serral. There's no way, as you just said. This map, I'm surprised how easy it is to defend. Like, there's only the bases are so close to each other, you know, the 3rd and 4th. So you cannot really split push at all. Like, you cannot really pull Serral apart at all. So you just need to wait and take two Lurkers and Vipers.
It really does seem to be the story of this map pool, and I mean, data C, sure, but the map pool in general, where you get 4 bases, and good cancel there from Serral, just happen to have the roaches. Well, you get 4 bases, and it's fairly easy, most maps. But then that 5th base, I mean, this 5th, defending this 5th base, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, it is. But if you have vision like Serral has with the overlords around the map, like in the middle of the map, then you also know where Serral is going, Solar is going. It's so hard to cast, man, because their names are the same, basically.
Well, we just say S red and S blue. There we go.
But yeah, this map, it just looks so easy to rotate, and because in ZVZ you always have the vision, it's well, you will almost never get caught off guard.
Well, both players right now are doing a great job of denying that extra base that they both want to take. And the funny thing is, Serral's harass has been more effective for the most part, despite the fact that he does not have Burrow's movement. He has Burrow, sure, but that just puts roaches on the map. It doesn't really allow them to move anywhere. So now Serral's saying, look, I'm defensive. I'm fine. I got lurkers where they need to be. You're not going to punch through that one. So a large portion of his army on the north side, again, trying to deny this extra base. The roach will be, or the drone will be denied pretty much immediately. Again, Solar cannot take the upper right or the upper middle base, but there's not a lot of vision on the right side. I mean, we see Serral doing something similar. He says, okay, well, you're not letting me take one side. Let me just go for the other. But I guess for now, Solar, he says, I really do not want to expand closer to Serral at the moment. And I guess these lurkers are going to have something to say about that, too.
I think this is Serral's time to shine. He has lurkers, his lurker upgrades are finishing, so right now his army is much stronger than Solar's, and he can finally start going on the map and like making like really hard pressure to deal with for Solar.
And we're really starting to see his multitasking start to shine. There's a random lurker run by in the natural. That sounds nice. In the middle of the map, Solar cannot engage that one. And the map is just starting to get constricted for Solar right now. He loses the 4th base. In fact, he just taps out at 200 supply because he just does not have the tech anymore. So, Serral, 1-0.
Yeah. lurkers are people whine about lurkers in like ZVT or ZVP, but lurkers really they shine in ZVZ. This is their best matchup, and like if you get them and your opponent doesn't have vipers or lurkers by himself, then just you cannot do anything. Like you need to really make some magic happen to survive.
That's all good. So talk to me about Cosmic, Elazer. It's a map that has a one gold base. It's a map that has an odd number of bases. It's got a rich gas on the north side, which we've started to see be maybe a little bit more interesting. But yeah, Cosmic and ZVZ, how does this work?
Yeah, so overall, just gold bases and purple gas bases are very interesting in the ZVZ and like in any matchup basically. But they really changed ZVZ. But in this map, it's just they are a bit too far away, you know. So you almost never get them actually. That's why this map actually plays quite standard. If those bases were a bit closer, then it definitely we would see a lot of wild stuff. But because they're so far away, it's way too risky and it just doesn't give you the benefit, honestly. So maybe later on, if you get like the base with purple gas, maybe you can play like Mutaling Bane a bit more efficiently because you just have more mutas. But like you really rarely see those bases in the game.
Yeah, that matches with what I've seen. And of course, also, despite Cosmic being a pretty big map, natural to natural, it's got one of the longer rush distances in the pool. The third rush is actually extremely short. So it's one of those that's like, well, you know, I can hold my natural fine, but it does seem to incentivize a lot more aggression around that third base. But for now, Baneliness done for both parties. And I mean, we're just opting to the same standard mid-game. Evo Chambers going down. You talked about Serral just being one of these players that plays standard. Well, he's kind of showing us that once again.
Yeah. I really like this wall off. It's like very simple. It's just two buildings actually wall you off, and that's big in ZVZ. That is very big because you don't need to show a Roach Warren, which means you always need to be scared of like a super early Roach Warren, or there's not being Roach Warren at all. So it's because I can either put like a 3-minute Roach Warren in the back, which you don't see, or I just don't get Roach Warren at all and I go Muta with like no Roach Warren and just play super greedy. So it's there's, you know, it's pretty nice. It actually changes ZVZ a lot. The fact that you can be this like unpredictable.
Well, talk about unpredictable.
He does get the Zeglings into his base and sees Roach Warren.
Ooh, big scout there.
It's good very good for Serral. Yeah, it's so good.
Normally, this is something we talk about Serral, like, oh, Serral always has lings and bases. You know, he's always getting that scout off, but you know, Solar making sure he thinks he knows. He sees that there's no lair. He sees that there is a Roach Warren. But of course, this is going to be a Carapace all-in. +1 Carapace all-in coming from Solar in this game. I'm sorry. I've been casting this. You got me all confused here, Miko. You talked about SNS. I've been thinking, oh yeah, Serral's in the bottom right this entire time. And
yeah.
like, wait a minute, what am I saying? It's all good.
Yeah, so you have +1 defense. It doesn't have to be a Roach all-in, but it is in this case. It seems like, and he's getting 2 fake gases at the third base, which is super nice. And he also transferred all the drones from the natural to the third base. It totally looks like macro game. I wonder if Serral is gonna somehow read this, but it seems very tough. He is making roaches though. He's scouting again with a Zergling.
When Serral got his links into the natural, was that had he moved the drones from the natural to the third yet?
I think not. No, I think not yet at that point. No, he is making roaches. I mean, it looks like but he's starting drones now.
Yeah, and he's
It's very hard. It's very hard to scout, man. Like Solar really sold the story, I think.
Yeah, this is a bit of a.
Now he sees, and perfect by Serral. He just he was waiting with the larva until he gets some sort of information, and now he's getting 10 roaches at the same time. I think Serral is just gonna hold. That was like really, really well done.
Is he though? He's got about 20 lings in his main base that is killing a queen, killing off a lot of workers. So now Serral says, okay, where do I need to defend here? Roaches pop, sure, and he may be able to defend at the front, but I worry that critical damage is going to be done elsewhere. 8 workers have died, roaches from the main base. They're not going to be able to make this hold happen at the third, but it has bought enough time, right? Spines are on the way. The concave from Serral is getting set up. And despite losing 8 drones, Serral's so confident he cancels the spine.
Yeah, I didn't see the Ling round by the main base, but like his reaction was just so good that at this point I think he's kind of just holding it. He has so many roaches with +1 range, which is like the superior upgrade, I could say.
Yeah, I think that's fair. With +1, of course, you kind of invalidate the Carapace, and, well, you actually do damage. The overkill is less of a thing. So now Serral chasing in, Roach Speed, trying to get on top of these Ravagers. Ling's looking for the surround, though, and Biles...
Well, and he has Roach Speed already finished, so he can just chase down the Ravagers.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Solar had an opportunity to maybe bile down a couple of those Roaches as they were trapped against the wall, but he misses. He doesn't drop the bile where it looks like he would have needed to. And now Serral, he's up 20 supply. He does have, as you said, have the superior upgrade. And it's Ling Ravager versus a bunch of Roaches, and maybe if you hit the Miracle Biles, it's going to work out, but no miracle Biles in this Miracle Mile.